Welcome to Cybersecurity. Halfway through April 15th. I have a fun exercise for us today, actually. I think we'll do it after our lesson. We'll do our lesson first, and then I've got a fun real-life example for us to look at today. Just something kind of fun there. But let me put up our lesson. Let's go through that first, and then we'll jump into the other thing here. So let's see. Going to our grade screen as usual. We're done with access control. We're on firewalls this week. 3.02 firewalls. Let's take a look at that. There it is. Firewalls are considered the first line of defense for most internet connections. We're very familiar with that term, firewalls. A network security professional spends a good bit of the day implementing, configuring, and troubleshooting firewalls. Of course, the main purpose of a firewall is to block any network intrusions and denial of service attacks. Like a wall that separates two rooms, a firewall separates an internal network from incoming external traffic like the internet. So a firewall is a piece of hardware or software that's used to inspect any network traffic and either allow it or block it, right? It takes a look at the traffic and says, should that be coming in here? There's many different types of firewalls and many different ways to implement them. For example, there's network firewalls which protect the whole network, which differ from host firewalls, which just protect a single computer. So a firewall is effective as a barrier to protect against external threats, but they cannot prevent internal threats. You could have problems coming from inside your network. Virus attacks, phishing. Like an intruder who breaks into your home, once the threat is inside the organization, the firewall is no longer effective. That locked door isn't any good when the intruder's inside your house. Organizations must implement other controls to avoid these kind of threats. So attacks from the internet like viruses, Trojans, spyware, ransomware, denial of service, malware can all be thwarted by using antivirus or other prevention and detective systems alongside firewalls. So, of course, the best protection we've learned is a multi-pronged approach. There's not just one thing to protect our network. Did you know that most companies cannot detect a data breach right away? Some take nearly 6 months to detect major ones like Equifax, Capital One, and Facebook are some high-profile examples. You know, they were infiltrated, their data was taken, they didn't find out about it for a while. Information like passwords, credit card data, social security numbers may already be compromised by the time the customer is notified. With evolving technology come evolving hackers. So a cybersecurity professional should stay informed and learn from useful cybersecurity statistics and facts. So yeah, by the time someone figures out that their data has been breached, that data may have already been used to ruin somebody financially. It's crazy. So let's look at types of firewalls and how they're implemented. So the OSI model. The OSI model can be used to understand how firewalls process traffic. Each type of firewall functions differently. So let's see. There was a video on the OSI model. 2 minutes.
Let's talk about layers. For pizza, it's the crust, the sauce, the toppings, layered together in a perfect package. IT professionals use layers when referring to the Open Systems Interconnection, or OSI model. This model visualizes a networking system in 7 layers. Think of the layers like the steps you take when ordering a pizza. In this case, pizza equals data. Layer 7 is application. This is where a customer picks up the phone to place an order. In OSI, it's what the user sees and interacts with. Next is the presentation layer. The order is translated into something a chef understands. A large pizza with sausage and olives may be translated into special number 6 on your check. Then the order is confirmed. This layer, session, is all about two-way communication. Without someone taking the order, your pizza dreams would end here. Layer 4 is called transport, but it's all about quality control. In this step, your pizza is checked for accuracy and quality before it leaves the kitchen. In the network layer, data, or in this case, pizza, is delivered using the best route. Layer 2, data link, provides a physical address for delivery. Like pizza, data needs a specific location, otherwise it could end up lost. Finally, in Layer 1, the physical delivery happens. Unlike ordering pizza, OSI works both ways. Data can travel from Layer 7 to 1 and back again. So, what's the point of OSI? If your pizza isn't right, the manager will follow the steps in your order to see where it went wrong. OSI is like those steps. It provides a point of reference that lets network managers and programmers troubleshoot. Your job is to get familiar with the layers, learn what they mean, and how they connect.
All right, nice little video. Talks about OSI. Good stuff. The more layers a firewall can cover, the more thorough and effective it can be. A firewall that operates at only layer 3 or 4 can filter only on IP protocol information, IP addresses, TCP or UDP port numbers. It cannot filter on application information like user authentication. Therefore, the more layers a firewall can process from, the more comprehensive it can be. There's those 7 steps of the OSI model right there. Packet filtering. Packet filtering firewalls, and we talked about packets before, are considered one of the earliest types. All firewalls are designed to perform this basic function. So a packet filtering firewall is configured by specifying an access control list, or ACL. Each rule defines a specific type of data packet and the appropriate action to take when the packet matches the rule. An action can be either to deny or accept and allow the packet to pass through a firewall. So a packet filtering firewall is considered stateless because the firewall examines each packet independently and doesn't keep a record of the previous ones. So stateless is type of firewall does not save the information, does not preserve the information about the connection. So packet filtering. Disadvantages: stateless firewalls can introduce problems in traffic flow due to blocking traffic that should not be blocked. They can also be complex to configure, or they can fail to prevent application layer attacks, and they do not support user authentication connections. All right, let's look at circuit level. Circuit level stateful firewalls, they're designed to track all the connections and allow return traffic to enter the network. So each session is recorded in the state table. It keeps a record. This data is used to check incoming traffic against its state table and block any traffic that doesn't match. These are considered stateful firewalls, which means it monitors the full state of every active network connection, because they make decisions based on the contents of the network traffic as they relate to the state of the connection. This does not filter individual packets, so active content cannot be scanned. Then there's application level. This is known as a proxy firewall. An application level firewall can inspect the contents of packets at the application layer. For example, a web application firewall, or WAF, is designed to protect HTTP and HTTPS applications. It might analyze the HTML code that's sent in packets to identify code that matches a pattern in its database. This type of firewall cannot examine encrypted data packets. All right, so what do all firewalls have in common? They're all designed to perform basic packet filtering, because that was like the first firewalls, and they can all do that one. So, all right, page 3. Next generation firewalls, NGFWs. They're like basic packet filtering firewalls, but they can also perform full packet inspection on encrypted traffic. They can also apply application-specific or user-specific security policies. NGFWs protect against threats. They manage how the network bandwidth is allocated. They maintain appropriate access controls, and some of them may also prevent malware from getting into the network. NGFWs are regular network firewalls that can inspect at the application layer and can perform SSL traffic inspection, intrusion detection, other prevention techniques. They can be deployed at the perimeter or inside the network as main firewalls to segment traffic and within a host, an individual computer to protect virtual workloads. Network security firewalls, no matter how advanced, won't stop everything, but they're getting a lot better. They generally don't detect or stop threats that have entered a network via social engineering, insider threats, email, or bring your own device. If you have your own computer and you hook it into the network, a lot of times that gets around those firewalls and creates problems. So let's see. Check our knowledge of firewalls. Circuit level, stateful. It protects by tracking all connections and records each session in a state table. Packet filtering is one of the earliest types. It's considered stateless. It does not keep a record of what comes through. Application level, also known as the proxy firewall, it can inspect the contents of the packets at the application layer. And then in GFW, the new generation here, this firewall can also perform full packet inspection on encrypted traffic. Page 4. Firewall configuration. This is an example of rule-based management, defined as an administrative technique that relies on the principle of least privilege and implicit deny to restrict access to resources. Firewall and other filtering rules are configured on the principle of least access, which means only the minimum amount of traffic required. Don't let any more that has to be in here. For the operation of a valid network services is allowed. Even simple firewalls can be complicated to configure securely. For this reason, cybersecurity professionals should create a written policy describing what a filter rule set should do. Rule set is a set of one or more individual network control rules that have been saved and can be redeployed on multiple applications. Test the configuration as far as possible to ensure that the ACLs work as they should. So here's some basic principles on configuring firewalls. Make sure to update the firewall to the latest firmware. Identify traffic permitted using the firewall ACLs. Delete, disable, or rename any default user accounts. Change all the default passwords. You don't want password 123, right? Secure the hardware that the firewall runs on and use the management interface. So that means make sure nobody can access that computer, secure it in a locked room, whatever it needs to be done. If multiple administrators will manage the firewall, create additional administrator accounts. So everyone has their own account with limited privileges based on what they're responsible for. Don't share user accounts, because if there's a problem, you won't know who did it. Use penetration testing to confirm the configuration is secure, right? Test it, see if you can break through. Log access attempts and monitor the logs for suspicious activity. So yeah, anyone that's trying to break in there, capture their IP address. Troubleshooting a misconfigured firewall. A poorly configured firewall will likely not function correctly. Kind of makes sense. This is easy to identify because users will report incidents related to the failure of data traffic. Diagnosis can be confirmed by attempting to establish a connection from both inside and outside the firewall. So a successful connection from outside the firewall, but not from inside, confirms that the firewall must be the cause of the issue. Firewall's log can also be used to find out what rules have been applied to block traffic at any particular time. All right, let's look at page 5 here. Test your firewall knowledge. All right, here we go. What is the main purpose of a firewall? Prevent malware, block network intrusion, and denial of service attacks. Prevent users from falling for phishing attacks. Now, we've already said that firewalls can't block phishing attacks because that means someone's clicked on something they shouldn't have clicked on. It's always to block network intrusion. Blocking network intrusion. Submit. Correct. Oh, got 4 questions. All right, let's see what else. What are all firewalls designed to do? What are all firewalls are designed to do? They kind of made that, they messed up their sentence there. Perform packet inspection, speed up network traffic, prevent virus attacks. Well, see, packet inspection is what the first ones did, right? So all of them do that. Perform packet inspection. Yep. What is a disadvantage of an application level? All right, what do you think on this one? They can be complex to configure. They cannot examine encrypted data packets. They introduce problems in traffic flow due to blocking traffic. Application level. What do we remember about that? Was that the one that cannot look at the encrypted data packets? Or is that the one that, I don't know that I remember exactly. We just read this. I think that's what it was. Yep. You got it down. Pretty sure. What does the principle of least access mean? Only a company's manager can authorize access. Users must go through at least 1 month of security training, or only the minimum amount of traffic required for the operation of the valid network services is allowed. Yeah, the third one. You're right. Yep. Least access means, don't allow just everybody in, just what's needed to be in there. Correct. Fabulous. All right, that's the end of this lesson. That was our little quiz on that. So our assignment is, of course, looks like 5 questions. But I do have an exercise I want us to look at. So here's something. My wife received this email at school, and I want us to look at this email she received. So we're going to talk about indications that it's a scam. So this is, I copied it directly, put it right here. So she received at her school email address, says you ordered item number, whatever item number. This was on Wednesday the 3rd from this person. This is like a PayPal receipt that was sent to her. Says it's from Greenville, North Carolina. Invoice receipt. There's the order ID, invoice number. It has her name. It says that she ordered a 4 terabyte internal gaming solid state hard drive for a computer and paid $442. This is a receipt, apparently. Thank you for your order. If this order is placed without your authorization or have any query related to your order, you can reach out at our 24/7 hotline. Here's the number, hashtag +1 858 281 4957. Orders on Saturday and Sunday to be delivered on Monday. What do you see about this that you think, okay, this may be a scam? Other than the fact that she never ordered this, right? This just showed up at her email. What do you see in there make you think this might be a scam? There's a few things that kind of hint at that. Anything make you suspicious? Let's see. I can probably make that a little bigger. Yeah. The phone number is not right. What's not right about it, Laura? What do you look at that and think, what do you mean it's not right? Yeah. Dallin says the number also.
If you cross-reference the customer service of actual PayPal, the number isn't right.
Right. That's not a PayPal number. Now, perhaps that's supposed to be the phone number of the company that you ordered it from. Even then, it looks very suspicious because do any American countries put a plus in front of the 1? If you're overseas, you got to put the +1. American, we don't put that. We just put 858. We might put a 1, but we don't put a +1. +1's when you're calling a foreign number. You got to do plus whatever their international code is, which US is the code 1 because we created the phone. So yeah, the number is very suspicious. Putting that plus in front of the 1. And by the way, I looked up that phone number, and that's a San Diego area code. San Diego. Yet it says that this invoice is from Greenville, North Carolina. Well, are you in North Carolina or are you in San Diego? What are we talking about? Anything else looks suspicious? But you're right. Yeah, the phone number looks like, wait a minute, that's not PayPal's number. In fact, since I love digging all this, I called that number and it wasn't even active. This number's not in service. So it's not even a real phone number. It could be that when the scammer turns on his computer network, it might be one of those online Google numbers or something. And maybe it works when his computer's on, but his computer was turned off, so it doesn't work. Because, like, if your phone number doesn't work, how are you going to scam people? Here, I'll show you some things that I looked at this and said, I think there's a problem. Right there, the email address. Look where this came from. First, it came from just somebody's Gmail account. but the name doesn't even match the name here. Hayden Raymond. So that's probably not Anna Rivera's email address. And generally, if you're buying a hard drive, now maybe you bought it from an individual, but you might expect to be a business email. That's not a business email. But the name doesn't match the Gmail name. Hayden Raymond and Anna. That makes me suspicious right away. So name doesn't match email. Doesn't mean it's not legit, but it makes me suspicious. See, what else did I see on this? Oh, why did they put that down there? Oh, that's a different one. Oh, this one. I like this a lot. If this order is placed without your authorization, have you ever gotten a receipt for anything that said, hey, here's your receipt, but if you didn't order this, call us? I have never gotten a real receipt that says, here's your receipt, but if you didn't actually order this. Receipts don't say that. Only scammers say that because they want you to call that because they're going to try to steal money from you. There's never a receipt that says if this was placed, if you didn't place this, if you didn't order this. So this sentence never appears on a legitimate receipt. See, here's something else I noticed. Look at the ordered item number and look at the invoice number. Is that the item number or the invoice number? Invoice numbers are not the same as item numbers because everybody has a different invoice number. But if everyone ordered the same item, they'd have the same invoice numbers, and that would create a problem in their computer because it's like, wait a minute, whose invoice is this? That's a big flag. North Carolina. I looked up the address. I wanted to see if it was a house or a business. That street does not even exist in Greenville, North Carolina. That is a totally fake address because there's not even a Fort Street in Greenville, North Carolina. You have to do some research to figure that out. But I wanted to go to Google Street View and look to see, was this a house? Was this an apartment? Was this a business? What is at that address? Nothing, because it does not even exist. And then we already talked about the phone number, putting a 1 in front of it. Number is also out of service because I called it. And they use a North Carolina address, but a San Diego area phone number. Lots of problems with that. Then I had another one that came. This one came to my email last week. I thought this was awesome. This was a FedEx, your package has been delivered. And I got this email, and Miss Dean got this email, and Mrs. X got this email. Ms. X. And it says it was signed for by QALE. Here's the tracking number, which, by the way, if you go to the FedEx website, that's not a valid tracking number. But look, it was delivered on the 8th at 5:58 p.m. I received the email on the 8th at 8:27 in the morning. I got a package that was delivered in the future. That was crazy. Monday morning, I had a package that was delivered Monday evening at 5:58. So this came through a time warp back through time. So definite scam. They want me to click on that tracking number, and that's going to take me somewhere. May install a virus on my computer, something, whatever it is. But the biggest key right away, other than the fact that I didn't get anything, is that was delivered in the future. That cracked me up. I'm like, okay, now you're an idiot, because it probably pulled this time from their system, and they're probably across the world over in India or the Philippines or somewhere. There's somewhere where it was 5:58 p.m. where they were at, and they sent me the email, and it just put that time in there. But it was 8:30 in the morning where I was at. Crazy stuff. So I'm going to start saving these every time I get these crazy emails, just to say, wow, scammers are not very bright. But yeah, you get something like that and you think it might be real, just do a little research on it. Start checking those things. Look at those things that look suspicious and just like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. And again, if your receipt says, if you didn't order this, call me. That's not valid. So, all right, guys, have a great week. Friday's a B day. I'll be here Wednesday if you got any questions, but otherwise, we'll see you next time. See ya.